Human history is long, but Earth's history is far, far longer. For tens of thousands of years, our ancestors walked a world that held deep secrets buried right under their feet. Imagine for a moment you're living in that ancient world. One day, while digging for roots or carving a shelter, your hand strikes something hard. It's not a rock, it's bone. But it's unlike any bone you've ever seen. It's a skull the size of a boulder with teeth as long as your forearm. What would you think? Would you believe you'd stumbled upon the remains of a god, a demon, or a monster? This wasn't just a fantasy. This was a reality for early humans across the globe. While we know today that humans and dinosaurs were separated by 65 million years of history, our ancestors had no such context. The massive bones they unearthed from the soil, the fossilized skeletons of creatures like Tyrannosaurus rex or the colossal sauropods, were terrifyingly real. To them, these weren't fossils from a bygone era. They were evidence of giants that once ruled the land, behemoths that could have swallowed a person whole. These discoveries didn't just spark curiosity, they ignited the human imagination and fueled the creation of myths and legends that have been passed down for generations. Around crackling fires under a sky filled with stars, stories were told. Tales of epic hunts and desperate battles against colossal beasts. These weren't just bedtime stories. They were essential parts of their culture, shaping how they saw the world and their place in it. In these legends, brave heroes, armed with nothing more than stone-tipped spears and flickering torches, would face down towering, scaly monsters. They would confront creatures with hide as thick as rock and roars that could shake the very mountains. Think of the dragons of European folklore, the great serpents of Asian mythology, or the giant beasts from indigenous stories. Could some of these tales have their ancient roots in the discovery of dinosaur bones? It's a fascinating idea. Triceratops' skull, with its 3 prominent horns and massive frill, could easily be mistaken for the head of a mythical griffin or a fearsome dragon. The long, winding vertebrae of a sauropod might look like the skeleton of a world-encircling serpent. For people who had never seen an elephant or a whale, these bones must have seemed truly otherworldly. The stories they created were a way to make sense of a world that was both wondrous and terrifying. They were humanity's first attempt at paleontology, a way to reconstruct the past using the fragmented clues left behind. But these stories were more than just explanations for mysterious bones. They were powerful survival tools. The battles depicted in these tales, whether real or imagined, were deeply symbolic. They represented the eternal struggle of humanity against forces far greater than itself, against nature's raw power. Against the unknown, against fear itself. When a hero in a story outsmarted a giant beast, it wasn't just entertainment, it was a lesson. It taught that intelligence, cooperation, and courage could triumph over brute strength. It showed that even the smallest among us could stand against the largest of threats if we worked together. These narratives reinforced the importance of community. A single hunter might be helpless against a giant cave bear, but a coordinated group, using strategy and fire, could drive it away. The legends celebrated the cleverness of the human mind, the ability to set traps, to use the environment to one's advantage, to create tools that could level the playing field. They taught the next generation not to despair in the face of overwhelming odds, but to innovate and persevere. In this way, the imagined giants of the past helped our ancestors survive the very real dangers of their present. The world our ancestors inhabited was filled with incredible megafauna woolly mammoths, saber-toothed cats, and giant sloths. Encounters with these creatures were real and deadly. The stories of mythical monsters likely blended with the realities of hunting these massive animals, creating a rich tapestry of myth and memory. The lessons learned from fighting a legendary dragon could be applied to the practical challenge of bringing down a mammoth. To feed the tribe for a month, the courage required to face a mythical beast was the same courage needed to defend your family from a pack of dire wolves. So, the next time you see a dinosaur skeleton in a museum, towering over everything, take a moment. Don't just see it as a scientific specimen. Try to see it through the eyes of our ancient ancestors. See the monster, the god, the giant that sparked 1,000 stories around 1,000 campfires. These bones didn't just give rise to myths, they helped shape the human spirit. They taught us to be brave, to be clever, and to believe that no matter how colossal the challenge, we have the strength and ingenuity to face it. The giants of that lost world may be long gone, but their legacy lives on in our stories and in the resilient spirit they helped to forge. Imagine a world long before cities, before roads, before the written word. A world ruled by instinct and the raw power of nature. Step back with us, tens of thousands of years, to a time when survival was a daily struggle, a relentless test of wit and will. Picture this. A small band of our ancestors moves with practiced stealth across a vast, sun-drenched savanna. The tall grass whispers around them, a sea of gold and green. In their hands, they carry the tools of their time-crudely fashioned stone axes. Sticks with fire-hardened points and spears tipped with sharpened flint. They are hunters, and their mission is driven by the most basic of needs: hunger. Every rustle of the leaves, every shadow that flickers, is a potential meal, a chance to provide for their families. They are focused, alert, a tightly knit unit moving as one. But they are not the only hunters on this landscape. Concealed within the dappled light and shadow, a pair of amber eyes watches their every move. A saber-toothed tiger, a magnificent and terrifying predator, lies in wait. Its muscular body, a canvas of stripes, renders it nearly invisible against the dry grass. It is the apex predator of this era, a creature of immense power and deadly patience. In this ancient world, the line between hunter and hunted was perilously thin. And for early humans, a single misstep could mean the difference between life and death. The tiger waits for the perfect moment, its muscles coiled like powerful springs, ready to unleash a devastating attack. Suddenly, the fragile silence is shattered by a deafening roar that seems to shake the very ground. The tiger explodes from its cover, a blur of fur and fury, its massive fangs bared. Pure primal terror grips the small group. The hunt is over. The chase has begun. They scatter in a desperate explosion of movement, their hearts hammering against their ribs, their feet pounding the earth as they flee for their lives. Adrenaline floods their veins. One of them stumbles and falls, a cry of alarm lost in the chaos. Another, seeing the danger, bravely turns back, shouting and waving his arms, a desperate attempt to draw the colossal beast's attention away from his fallen comrade. In this moment of life-or-death crisis, instinct gives way to something more powerful. Teamwork. The group rallies. Some grab loose stones and hurl them at the advancing predator with all their might. Others brandish the burning branches they carry, waving the flames and smoke wildly. Fire, humanity's great equalizer, a weapon born of intellect and discovery. The sight of the dancing flames, the smell of the smoke, gives the mighty tiger pause, hesitates, its predatory focus disrupted by this strange and intimidating display. The standoff lasts for what feels like an eternity, a tense battle of wills between ancient rivals. Finally, with a frustrated snarl, the tiger backs away, melting back into the tall grass from which it came. They survived. Exhausted, terrified, but alive. They gathered together, the warmth of the fire a small comfort against the lingering chill of fear. But this terrifying encounter will not be forgotten. It becomes a scar on their collective memory, a harsh lesson etched into their minds. Fear evolves into knowledge. They learn the tiger's habits, its strengths, its weaknesses. This knowledge transforms into strategy. They will develop better warning systems, craft more effective defenses, and learn to use the landscape and their tools with greater cunning. This brush with death was not just a chase, it was a classroom. It was one of the countless moments that sharpened the human mind, forged the bonds of community, and slowly, step by step, began to shift the balance of power on a wild and unforgiving planet. Thank you for joining us on this journey back in time. If you were captivated by this story of ancient survival, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more incredible tales from our distant past. What ancient creature do you find most fascinating? Let us know in the comments below. We'll see you in the next one.